Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. I am Aliana and I'm here to explain to you guys about software test documentation, also known as STD. Here is the table of content. Before I'm going to explain further, let's watch this video first.
Software. It's not like engineering something easy like a bridge, where you start with a blueprint, build it to spec, then forget about it. Software is dynamic, with a lot of moving parts and requirements that evolve over time. Developers build apps on top of a mountain of abstractions, and nobody fully understands how every layer works. That's okay, because we just need to make sure that our code matches the requirements of the product. Test-driven development is scientifically proven to reduce defects and improve the maintainability of a codebase, but it does require some additional effort. One option is manual testing, where a human being clicks on every button and fills out every form, then assigns a bunch of Jira tickets so they can be backlogged by the developers. But that's not very efficient for a large-scale product. A better approach is to use automated testing tools that allow developers to write code for the sole purpose of testing the main application code. In a codebase, you'll often find files that end in .test or .spec. Inside, you'll first find a line of code that describes the feature or thing that's being tested. That's known as a test suite, and it contains one or more individual tests. An individual test usually starts with it, followed by a description of what is being tested. The idea is to describe the behavior of the code in human-readable terms. Inside the test, the code will be executed, then one or more expectations or assertions are used to check that the code produces the expected result. If the expectation returns false, then the test fails. If it's true, it passes. Test runners, like Jest or Karma, can run all your tests automatically in the background or on a continuous integration server before you deploy. Now, there are many different automated testing strategies that you should be aware of. At the most granular level, we have unit testing, which is designed to test individual functions or methods, like does this function return the proper value when given the arguments of A and B. Then we have integration testing to determine how well different components or modules work together, like is the component able to use the database service to get data from the server. At the highest level, we have end-to-end testing, which usually happens in a mock browser or device and simulates actual user behaviors like clicking on buttons and filling out forms. It's like having a robot to do all your manual testing for you. And that's not all. There are many other types like performance and smoke testing, which I'll explain in my upcoming test-driven development.
So, what is STD? The software test description describes the test preparations, test cases, and test procedures to be used to perform qualification testing of a computer software configuration item, or also called CSCI, or a software system or subsystem in a file or document form. Test description, or also known as test documentation, includes all files that contain information on the testing team's strategy, progress, metrics, and achieved results. The combination of all available data serves to measure the testing effort, control test coverage, and track future project requirements. What is the goal of software testing documentation? It provides a complex vision of the project and offers many practical benefits, such as number 1, remove the uncertainties of any testing activities. Testing document stores detailed specifications of all planned tests, making it easy for team members and product owners to keep track of the product. Number 2, helps set up the testing environment. Testing documentation stores data on used hardware, automated tools, frameworks, and describes product functionality in detail. The team can reuse this information for future test cases or give it to a newly onboarded member. Number 3, offers stakeholders more insight into the testing process. Detailed real-time reports allow checking of tangible testing result anytime. A product owner, business founder, or CTO gets an insider view of the team's progress and can make suggestions. Number 4, software testing documentation helps analyze the efficiency of the testing. After analyzing the testing results and progress, the team can optimize the process. If the team didn't meet their KPIs, the problem can be caught early, and testing practices can be revisited early on. More importantly, Software test documents allow product owners and business managers to save time and money by reusing all successful practices and avoiding the ones that didn't meet KPIs. It's a long-term investment that not only improves the current testing outcomes, but also can be reused for future testing tasks. Next, we are going to go through the types of test documentation. There are two types of STD, which is internal and external test documentation. Firstly, the internal type is the most popular type of testing documentation files are test reports, plans, and checklists. These documents are used to outline the team's workload and keep track of the progress. These are the key requirements of internal test documentation, on which is test strategy, test data, test plans, test scenarios, test cases, and traceability metrics. Secondly, the external type of test documentation on that collects information from inner documentation but also emphasizes on providing a visual data representation, graphs, diagrams, etc. The key requirements is external reports, test summary reports, and bug reports. The combination of internal and external documentation is the key to a deep understanding of all testing processes. Although stakeholders typically have access to the majority of documentation, they mostly work with external files, since they are more concise and tackle tangible issues and results. Internal files, on the other hand, are used by team members to optimize the testing process. Now that we've reviewed the types of test documentation in software testing, let's sum up how they help to advance the project and reduce the cost of software development and testing. Number 1, improves internal coordination within the team. Business owners should be able to check the code's quality anytime, as well as check whether the team meets estimated requirements on deadlines and workload. Second, increases the acceptance of the project. Team members define the requirements to the final product version at the beginning of the process. As soon as these requirements are met, the team and stakeholders know that the product passed evaluation successfully. Number 3, improves team members' interchangeability. Without records, the software testing team would have to familiarize themselves with the environment and relearn the functionality. However, if the team kept documentation after their first testing round, they can simply refer to old files and refresh the key aspects of the project. Number 4, speeds up employee onboarding. There is no need to assign a personal mentor who would share project details to a new tester. All data is available in a single database. Number 5, provides feedback on the planning cycle. The team approves documented plans early on to avoid misunderstanding at the later testing stages. So, these are the references for my presentation. That's all from me. Thank you.